Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. We will wait one more minute and then we will start our webinar. Okay, there are still people joining, but we will start the webinar. Welcome, everyone. My name is Pelle, and with me today is my colleague René.
Hello, everybody.
And in today's webinar, we will give you a live demonstration on how to run the coordination and approval process with ConVoid, especially for builders work openings. And this session will be recorded. So we will publish the video on our YouTube channel, probably at the beginning of next week. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A chat. We will answer your questions after the live demonstration. The live demonstration will take about 30 minutes. So we have about 30 minutes to answer your questions. Good. Then let's begin. I will start with a short presentation to give you a short overview of the main features of ConVoid. And then we will switch to a live sample project where René and I'm going to show you how to work with Revit, ConVoid in Revit, and also with our new Void Manager app. Good. So ConVoid is used by architects, MEP engineers, structural engineers, BIM managers, BIM coordinators to create, update, and run the coordination process for builders work openings or MEP openings. It's used in small projects or large scale projects like hospitals, airports, and so on. So you can run the entire process using ConVoid. We are specializing on this use case, and we still continue to develop ConVoid, especially with our new Void Manager app, which we will show you today. It's still in beta, but you get a preview. The features of ConVoid. So the first feature is to create builders work openings. So basically you can use IFC and Revit files. You can link them together to create the federated model. And based on an internal clash detection, ConVoid will detect all the relevant locations or intersections on where to create and place openings. It supports all categories, so it doesn't matter what kind of category you are using. It supports MEP fabrication parts, pipes, ducts, furnitures, so basically all 3D elements. So there's no limitations on what category you are using to create openings. On top of that, it's possible to transfer parameters. For instance, the fire rating of the walls or the system abbreviation of each MEP service element. And of course, you can define your own conditions to fulfill your project requirements, especially the oversizes for the openings to ensure enough clearance between the MEP services and the host elements. You can join openings by a predefined distance to ensure, ensure that there's enough gap or not such a small gap between these openings. And finally, you have also the possibility to filter elements or exclude elements. Of course, you do not want to include everything for the creation of openings. For instance, placeholders should be excluded, or maybe some non-bearing elements during an early stage of your project. So you can simply exclude these elements to avoid creating openings based on these objects. So here we have a short example. You have multiple different discipline models. For example, the architecture model, electrical model, plumbing, HVAC model, structural model. You can have multiply electrical or plumbing models, or multiply different models. And what you have to do then is to create one federated model. And based on the federated model, you can define your requirements, run the clash detection, and create openings. As I already mentioned, ConVoid supports ISC and Revit files. So you could basically run the entire process just using ISC files. They can come from ArchiCAD, DDS-CAD, Tekla, and so on. So you are not limited to just use Revit models. The next step is to update openings once in a while or weekly. Everyone is working on their own discipline models, and they have to provide the new versions. And of course, the builders work openings also have to be updated. And that's common to do it once, maybe twice a week. And the only thing you have to do with ConVoid is just to link the new versions of the discipline models into your own working environment and rerun the ConVoid. And ConVoid will then detect all changes automatically. So there does not need to be a communication between the different disciplines. ConVoid will tell you what the MEP engineer changed, and the MEP engineer will also see if a wall got changed. So everything is logged in a change log to ensure transparency. And of course, you can also highlight each different status. For example, we have now the yellow marked openings, which are marked as changed. We have the orange or red ones, which are marked as deleted. Once you have created the openings, or maybe you're also receiving openings from an MEP engineer who is not working with Revit, but you want to adopt or transfer these openings in your structural or architecture model to create real cutouts in walls, floors, and so on. You can also do that using ConVoid. ConVoid allows you to transfer external and internal openings, also IFC and Revit, in IFC format and Revit format, to your own structural or architecture model. And it will also keep everything up to date to allow you then to create your drawings, to create the cutouts and the host elements and so on. The next step and the part we're going to focus on today is the coordination and approval of openings. We are providing a feature called ConVoid Manager. This is a Revit integration. It allows you to get an overview of all the openings and their statuses in your current project. We have a chat included that allows you to communicate with the project participants. Each opening can be exported as a BCF, so we automatically create BCF issues, and that allows you to export your results as a BCF format and also deliver to external partners who are not working with Revit. Of course, you can also add snapshots. It's also possible to export Excel or CSV files. You can run the approval synchronization in case multiple project participants or teams are working with ConVoid. You can simply synchronize the approval statuses between each discipline model without the exchange of a BCF file. Yeah, but that's about the ConVoid Manager. We will show you the features in the live demonstration. The next and the last feature I'm going to show you in the presentation is the tagging and dimensioning of openings. We also allow the automatic tagging of openings using SmartTag. SmartTag is a more advanced feature to allow you to tag a selected group of openings automatically. The main benefit you will have is that SmartTag tries to find the free spot in your 2D drawing to avoid overlapping elements or overlapping text and dimensions. With the dimension tool, you can dimension walls or create also section views based on walls automatically. All right, let's jump into the live demonstration. We will show you one possible process. Yeah, it doesn't mean that we recommend using this process. It always depends on your project requirements. But first of all, René will take over the role of the MEP engineer. He will create the openings in his MEP model. Usually, we do not recommend creating the openings in the MEP model if you are working in a large-scale project. So in case you have a huge project with more than 1,000 openings, it's recommended to use a separate file just to create, update, and coordinate the openings instead of having all the openings in your MEP model. But of course, all scenarios are possible, and today we will show you one possible scenario. All right, René, you are free to share your screen.
I will share my screen. So right now I'm here in Revit 2025. So what you are seeing here, as Pelle already said, is our MEP trainings project, our sample project, which is also available on our webpage. So we kept it very simple. I will run ConVoid here. It's a separate tag inside a tab inside of Revit. We have already created a filter. I'm setting up the boundaries where the opening should get placed inside of the model. We have already been choosing some categories. Then we will refresh all the settings, and we have an oversize here of 50 millimeters, and then the rest is, let's say, it's very standard, what we are normally using, and then we are placing now the openings. And now you will see the magic which is taking place now. It's not so much, it should be 106. If it's not, don't blame us. Okay, perfect, 106 openings. And as you can see here, we have the ducts and the pipes here inside and the openings placed here with an oversize of 50 millimeters here. So I will save the project here and I will transfer it. And maybe Pelle, you can take back the screen. In the meantime, I am uploading the updated model.
Perfect.
It will take some seconds.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, that was a short overview on how to create openings. As I said, we will not go into the details. If you may have questions, we're gonna answer them afterwards. But you can run the process for your entire project, creating openings for a huge part of your project. Yeah, it allows you to create thousands of openings at once. The next step. Now, René, as an MAP engineer, created the openings, and I will take over the part as the architect. He will provide me the MAP model. I will link it to my model, and I will start to adopt the openings into my architecture model. And then I start to run the approval process. All right, I'm just gonna have to wait a second until everything is synchronized.
From my end, it's done.
Yeah, let's see, it's probably taking. All right. Okay, I'm just gonna start sharing my screen. Stop there. Okay, now I'm in my architecture model. The MEP model is still waiting and synchronizing, so we'll see. Maybe you can just send me it with email, René. Okay, so once you start working with ConVoid, you have the possibility to adopt or create openings in a specific area or scope. So by using the 3D section box, ConVoid will only focus on this visible part, and it allows you then to just run the creation and adoption process in this specific part. If I increase my 3D section box, ConVoid will then create openings in this visible part. All right, the MEP model is now synchronized. I will just reload it. And as you can see, I just linked the MEP model. And these openings are still in a linked model, but I want to adopt them in my architecture model. To do so, I'm also using ConVoid, and I can then also run the clash detection with the basic settings. We will not go into the details, but I will also use the default settings. Since I'm now just have a smaller part visible in my 3D view, I'm not adopting all of the openings. Now I have like 79, as you can see. If I increase my 3D section box, and rerun ConVoid, ConVoid will add the missing openings. So let's do that. Perfect. Now I have 106 openings. Good. Let's have a closer look. I'm just gonna use a smaller part. On top of that, I'm just gonna unload the MEP model. And as you can see, we have now the 3D openings insert it in our architecture model. We have some specific information. For instance, I transferred the fire rating of the walls into my openings. I have the material of the host element. I have the dimensions. I have some identity data. For instance, the drawn date, who was creating the opening, and also some room and grid information. To start the approval process, I will start using the ConVoid manager. And we allow to add a color filter. And once you approve an opening, I'm just going to select one opening here and hit approve. It's get highlighted in their status color. So in that case, it's green. I can also highlight that in my 2D view. And then I can simply start to select and run the approval process. I can multi-select openings. Let's reject one opening. For instance, this one has a dimension of, let me see, 105, 1.5 meters. That's too large. So René has to split these openings, these two. I'm just going to reject both of them. I'm just going to write the comment what he has to do. Please split openings. Max 1.75 meters. Okay, and I can also add the snapshot. Let's do that. I'm just going to use Paint to edit the snapshot, and then I'm just going to draw a cutting line. Of course, you can do it a little bit nicer than me right now. And based on that, I have now explained what has to be done. I can just continue running the approval process. I have the status bar here. So basically 8% is approved, 2% is rejected, and so on. So if I want to see which ones I have rejected, I can use the checkboxes to filter these openings. I'm just going to show everything again, and then I'm just going to continue approving. I'm also using the clash zone to check the distance between the openings. So we have a clash zone parameter included in our families. Let's use 200 millimeters. And based on the clash zone, I can see if some openings have enough clearance in between. And in that case, the clearance is smaller than 200 millimeters. So I'm just going to reject these openings. That's probably for these ones. Great. Gap of 200 centimeters. Good. Of course, you could also just filter some openings based on some parameter values. The ConVoid manager is similar to the Revit schedule. So we have the fields here allowing you to show specific informations or parameter values in your table. We have filters, we have sorting. This will allow you to only show the openings which are required for the approval process. For instance, maybe a specific level or a specific area or grid location. We have the sorting, and one main feature which is interesting to know is maybe that we also handle dates. Let's assume the drawn date. You can also use the drawn date to check what have been created after the 8th of May or before 8th of May. So this will also allow you to filter all the openings at the specific date. Just gonna cancel that. And now I'm, for my part, done as an architect. I want to provide my results now to the structural engineer. The structural engineer is not working with Revit, but he will use our Void Manager to prepare the data for the structural engineer. I will provide him the BCF of the openings and an ISC file. To give him as much as information as possible, I will also add a title to each opening. We have here a title. By default, it's showing the void ID, but let's add a title. For instance, I can add a title rejected because of size. And then it will add the title to this specific opening, but you can also include parameter values. And let's do that for an example. I'm just going to write the text, the ID, and then I'm using the square brackets. And in the square brackets, I'm going to type in the parameter. In that case, it's void ID. So he will extract the information of the void ID and will include it into the title. The next step is the grid. Let's add the grid location as a. Furthermore, I want to add the level as an information. In that case, I'm just going to use the room level. That's fine, I guess. Furthermore, I'm just going to add the fire rating of the host element. Fire rating. Good. I'm just going to copy this value and just hit enter. And as you can see, ConVoid will then request the information, the parameter values of each opening, and will add these values into the title. And that can be done with all openings at once. So let's just do that for all the openings. Here we go. And as you can see, now each opening has the information. So this information will be included into the BCF file. Let's export the BCF file. BCF export. I'm just gonna save it. Wait a second. Okay, now it's saved. 106 BCF issues got exported. And on top of that, I want to do the ISC export. So I'm just gonna export my entire project at once. Architecture model, that's good. Let's have a closer look. That looks great. Now, I'm just going to share my other screen again. The next step is to provide the information to the structural engineer. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to provide him the ISC and BCF file. Since he is not working with Revit, he will use a BCF platform. In that case, we will show you the new Void Manager app, which we are currently developing. But of course, you could also use a different BCF platform. Okay, let me switch to my other screen again. Here we go. And now, as you can see on our platform, I have opened the Void Manager. And here I will just drag and drop and insert the BCF file and the architectural file. And great. Now, as you can see, I can see the status of the architect. I will switch my discipline to structural. I could also filter the rejected ones, for instance. And if I just gonna add a 3-section plan. There we go. As you can see, these ones got rejected. If I switch to the architect, yeah, these ones got rejected. So that's good. Clear everything. And then I will start my approval. And it's quite simple. I can use simply click on the symbols and run the approval process. I have the possibility to check the distances between the openings using the measurement. So here we have some laser measurements to see to check the distance. Okay, here's 13 centimeters. So I'm just going to reject these ones. This one, I can also add a snapshot. Please keep distance bigger than 20 centimeters. Of course, I see the architect has also rejected the openings. So now I'm doing double work, but that's the way how you could simply just reject and approve openings. You can write comments and so on. And let's have a closer look. I'm just going to add a section view here. Looks good. Great. And once I'm done, I can save my work by just saving the BCF, and it's gonna export the BCF. The next step I'm gonna do is to send the BCF to René. So I'm just gonna share my other screen again. So let me find the file. Downloads. So. Okay, René, I just added it into our folder. Of course, I could also send the BCF file back to the architect, but since the BCF also have included the architectural approvals, I'm just gonna send everything in one step to the MEP model. So basically now I provided them the BCF files, and René can now import these results in his own model.
Perfect, thanks a lot. So I will share my screen. So again, I'm here in my MEP model. And now I will use the manage void function to import Pelle's BCF file. So here we have the exchange function, and I click on BCF import. And I'm choosing the BCF file from Pelle, which is this one with str behind. So it's directly coming from the new app. And then I'm clicking open. And I see how many of them got approved, rejected. It's a short report. And now I can click on import. Now I also need to change the view to structure. So right now I'm here. I can see what needs to be changed or not. So I got here a comment on it. Here a second one. And here the big ones. So I can keep the window open here or I can push it on a second screen. So here I need to split the opening. Okay, so I understand what's going on. So I'm just right now using my arrow keys on Revit, not very precise, but let's say I am fulfilling the request from the architect and the structured MEP here. And now I'm closing the window and I am rerunning convert voids and clicking on OK. So I'm right now creating new openings for the changed status of the MEP pipes. And the openings got split. So I will save the project and I will share then this new opening file to Pelle. So you can take over the screen, Pelle.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. All right, so ConVoid will automatically update the openings based on the changes, as you saw. Now he will provide me the new updated openings, and the circle of the process just continues until everything is approved. So let me switch or check if I got the new updated version. That's probably taking a while.
Yeah, it's uploaded from my side.
Yeah, okay. Then I'm just gonna wait a little bit. And let's see. Perfect. Now it's there. I'm just going to reload the HVAC model. As you can see, these openings are... wait. I'm just going to share my screen again. Here we go. Now we are in the sample project again. And as you can see, I have the new updated MEP model.
You will need to share your screen, Pelle. It's not showing.
It's still, wait a second. Okay, now.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, now as you can see, I have the linked MEP project included. I'm just going to hide that in my 3D view, 2D view. And then I will also rerun ConVoid. So you do not have to do any changes in your settings. You just rerun ConVoid, and ConVoid will then tell you about all the changes. And as you can see now, I have 3 new openings and 3 got changed. Let's have a closer look. So basically, this opening got created. This opening got changed. And as you can see, the approval switched from rejected to pending automatically. So ConVoid will change the approval automatically to pending in case there is a detected change to notify you that you have to rerun the approval for this specific opening. So what I could do then is just to approve it, and then I can just provide the information to the structural engineer. And that's how the process continues until everything is 100% approved and ready for the construction site. Good. Let's switch to the presentation again. And of course, we provide the 14 days trial. So if you're new, then you can download the 14 days trial on our website. We also have a user guide and tutorials included. So we always recommend to check out the support page to get started with ConVoid smoothly. Now we're gonna answer your questions. Let me check. There are quite of questions in our Q&A and also in our chat. Let's have a closer look. Okay, let's find some questions. Okay, there's like some basic questions about ConVoid. How can you create openings with without having duct pipes, etc., going through the wall? So in case you do not have any intersections, you have to place openings manually. That's of course possible using ConVoid. I'm just going to demonstrate this in our sample project. So let me just demonstrate that example. So we allow you to simply copy and paste openings. And once you copy or place an opening manually, these openings get marked as manually placed. So you can always see the difference between automatic placed openings and manually placed openings. And based on that, it's easy to place the openings even you do not have a duct or pipe yet. Let's assume there's a duct or pipe added at the later stage, intersecting the opening. ConVoid will automatically build a connection between the opening and the new created duct to avoid duplicate openings. Can you create openings from attached 3D DWG file? Not yet. Well, we only support IRC and Revit file, but it would be possible. For instance, if you create a Revit family and import a DWG file into the family and then place the family into your Revit project, it would be possible to use the DWG file as a reference. But we would recommend using IRC files if that's possible. If we rename the titles of elements in ConVoid, the BCF link to the issue in BCF remains stable. Yes. So we have a lot of backups to ensure the connection between the BCF. So in case you are changing the title or doing something else with the BCF, it's always, yeah, we can ensure to 99% that the connection is going to be stable, even if you modify the BCF in a other BCF app. So there's no need to be concerned about the connection of the BCF. Is there any workflows to work with Revit still? Yes, some projects are working with ConVoid and Revit still, also with BIM Collab or Catenda, BIM Sync, BIM Track, and so on. So it's possible to import the BCF files and IC files in external BCF platforms, but there's always like some platforms have their limitations. So because some platforms have their limitations, we're just going to provide a solution like the Void Manager in future to allow you to run the entire process in the ConVoid ecosystem. But of course, you are free to go to use other third-party platforms. When MEP engineer changing the rejected opening, does he has to modify the openings manually or to run the tool again? You probably saw that case. Then they changed the location of the pipes, rerun ConVoid, and the openings got changed automatically. But of course, you could also do the change manually. That would be also possible. But we would recommend, if it's possible, to do it automatically. How do you handle linking the HVAC ISC models to Revit? Since the files are too big, we found it hard to run with them. Well, that's probably an IRC issue. In case you receive an IRC file, then we would recommend to the one person in the project is opening the IRC file. Revit will then create a RVT file of the IRC file, and this RVT file can then be linked into your main project. That would be a possibility. Is there a limitation or a suggestion on the maximum numbers of openings created by a single filter? I have a project that has over 3,000 openings, which sometimes it's struggling to update in one go. Well, in one go, we recommend to update openings up to 1,000 openings. If you do it on your entire project, then your hardware probably gonna have some trouble. So run the one filter 3 times, split up your project, or use the 3D section box and run ConVoid for level 1 to level 5, and then from level 5 to level 10, and from level 10 to level 15 to ensure the best results. But we have seen projects which run like 30,000 openings on one single filter, but that was a quite high-end machine they used. So I would not recommend it. 1,000 openings, it's good. It will also keep your calculation process shorter. 1,000 openings means around 7 to 10 minutes calculation. How it handles the fire protection or sound protection requirements. Yeah, that's a more specific topic on how to create openings, so I will not go into the details, but we recommend using Dimension Void. So check our tutorial on our website on how to use Dimension Void, because then you can apply specific oversizes to a specific group of openings. Can you choose to only create openings in a specific area, floor, or do you create openings for the whole model? No, that's what we demonstrated here. So if you are working in a 2D plan, you can simply select the lower level and upper level. And let's assume I want to create and update the openings between these levels. ConVoid will just create and update openings in this scope. The same applies for the 3D section box. Who's responsible for managing the coordination through ConVoid of builders' work openings on a real project? It always depends on the project. In some countries like Germany, it's mainly the architect who is responsible for the coordination process. The MEP engineers are providing the openings. The architect and structural engineer will then run the approval and the coordination process. In Scandinavia, it's sometimes one specific person called also the opening manager, who is responsible for the entire process. So it's up to your project who's taking the lead. Can you export only the rejected voice as VCF? Of course. And that's also what we recommend in case you want to inform your MEP engineer, who also may not working with ConVoid, about the rejected openings. Simply use the checkboxes and filter the rejected ones, and select all the rejected ones and run the export. And now ConVoid just exported the rejected openings instead of all. So that's one thing we recommend to avoid providing too much information. All right, let's switch to the chat. There are also some questions here. Is the placeholder a new feature in the new manager? How does it work? Well, that's actually an older feature, but we reactivated in version 1.6. What does it do? Let's assume you can set an opening as a placeholder. So it will still exist in your project, but it will not be shown in 2D. In 3D, it's also shown differently. So as you can see, it's a dashed opening. And to filter these placeholders, you could use the placeholder feature, and then you have all the placeholders in your project. This is, for instance, if you join openings manually. Let's join these two openings manually. I'm just gonna unload. And as you can see, the openings we used to join the openings are now marked as placeholders. So I can undo that. And ConVoid will then mark it as a placeholder, and you have still the possibility to check these placeholders in your ConVoid manager. Please share wall cutouts and pipe sleeve families. These are available for free on our website. So if you sign up for the trial, you will get a link for the download page, and there you can download all the families. That's maybe also one thing I'm gonna mention in case you want to cut openings with your host elements. Currently, they are not cut, but we have a cutting feature here. I'm just gonna hit cut, and once I selected the openings, hit cut, ConVoid will create real cuts in the host elements. Can we transfer any shared parameters of our choice from the clashing elements, for example, walls, to the opening? Yes, there's no limitations. So all your custom parameters can be used to transfer parameter values from your walls or structural elements or MEP elements to the openings by using the parameter transfer. Let's wait a second. I'm just going to demonstrate that. So the parameter transfer is shown here. So you have a list of all your custom parameters. In that case, it's wall parameters. Up here, we have the parameters of the MEP elements, and then you are free to transfer these parameters to the openings. So there's no limitations regarding the use of custom parameters. Can the original parameters from the roofers be renamed before starting to ensure a codification for the project? I'm not sure if you mean the roofers parameters or the ConVoid parameters. So in case it's the ConVoid parameters, we do not recommend to rename or change them. It would be possible since we are working with the GUID, but yeah, maybe reach out with your questions using our support email. Yeah, can you define an opening to jump in 5 millimeters? That's possible. Let's find an example. Okay, now that's not a good example. We have the rounding option. So round openings dimensions to the nearest 5 millimeters, 10 millimeters, 50 millimeters, or inches or feet. So once you select 5 millimeters, it will jump to the next 5 millimeters to avoid odd dimensions. Do core drillings have a center point that can measure it in standard IC software? Well, that's one thing. We recommend to add like cross or 2D or 3D lines to the family to ensure like that you can snap these center points in IC or different external softwares. Can the ConVoid openings families be renamed as project naming standards? Of course, there's no limitations. You can rename the ConVoid openings based on your requirements. You can duplicate the openings. So I could also name it openings. And of course also the type. So there's no limitations. You are free to change the naming. The Void Manager, is it a free app? Currently it's in beta stage. It will be available for current customers, so it will be part of the license which you can buy. But we will see in future if it's also if there may be a free version of it. Could the BCF file be imported into third parties? Yes, that's what we answered. Yeah. Okay. I think there's quite a few more questions. We will answer them afterwards. Now it's 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock here in Oslo. So first of all, thank you for your interest in ConVoid. I see some customers who are already using ConVoid, so I hope you got some new insights. For those who did not test ConVoid yet, you're free to go to test our trial. And yes, thank you for your attention. And if you have questions, please reach out to our support email. It's support@conclass.tech, and we are happy to answer your questions. All right, have a nice day, and